Welcome to Live Well, Dream Big. I'm Suzanne Monroe, founder of the International Association of Wellness Professionals, where I've been teaching people how to live a life of wellness, tap into their passion, and go for their dreams for over 15 years. I believe living well and dreaming big starts with ourselves. This podcast will show you how to create a healthy, holistic life, empower your mindset, follow your dreams, and make a big impact. Let's dive in right now. Welcome back to Live Well, Dream Big. This is Suzanne Monroe, your host, and I'm very excited to be joining you for another episode. Today is a soul session, and soul sessions are all about taking just a few minutes out to get centered, get grounded, really get focused, and check in with ourselves. And as you may know by now, during a soul session, I usually like to tell you about something that's coming up for me right now that I'm working on and hope that it might be something that can support you on your journey this week as well. So the thing that's coming through for me right now is about loving ourselves, right? Now, as much as I feel like I'm someone who loves myself, I practice self-care, right? I'm always kind of listening to myself. I'm on a personal growth journey, trying to always improve myself and care for myself, right? These are things that kind of might make you think about, okay, you're really, focused on self-care and self-love. One thing I realized that can inhibit me from really truly loving myself is sort of the flip side, which is judging ourselves. Okay. So judging ourselves is when we're, really beating ourselves up, really blatantly about something that maybe we've done or that we want to do, but we're afraid to do. But it can also be more kind of elusive than that. It can be something that maybe you're doing a little bit in the background, right? Or you're judging yourself about something that you might do in the future. So it holds you back. And I think this is really important. And for me, what's happening right now is I'm actually getting ready to go out there and do something kind of different. I'm going to be speaking on a lot of podcasts. It's something I'm not as used to because I'm always interviewing people and hosting my podcast, right? Actually, I've been interviewing people for almost 15 years, but I'm not usually in the hot seat myself. So I was actually feeling uncomfortable about this. And what I realized is that I was judging myself because I was putting out an expectation for myself that I have to be perfect, right? Or I have to say the right thing, or I have to have it all put together. And the message is that is not true, right? And when we judge ourselves, what happens is we don't give ourselves that room for growth. So we go out there and we put too much pressure on ourselves, which doesn't allow us to really be at ease and to be authentic. But it also leaves us in this place of judgment where we're not allowed to make mistakes. And when we're not allowed to make mistakes or we have to have things perfect, we really don't get that opportunity to grow. Because usually what happens is if we're judging ourselves that much or putting that much out there on ourselves, we're not going to move forward. We're not going to put ourselves out there. We're not going to allow ourselves to make mistakes, right? So it's really about allowing yourself to really be a lifelong learner, to allow yourself to be on this journey. And the fact of the matter is it's about being more playful, right? Getting rid of pressure and bringing in a little more playfulness means that you get to experience life and you get to go on this journey and you don't have to be perfect and you can make mistakes. So those are some of the things that are coming in for me. And I really do believe this is about loving ourselves and accepting ourselves and being willing to try new things without judging ourselves, knowing that, hey, we're going to make quote unquote mistakes, but are they really mistakes or are they just part of the journey to learning and growing and doing more? So that's something to keep in mind if you're on the journey of trying new things out there and you're looking to live well or dream big and things are coming up for you and you're holding yourself back or judging yourself, is really this idea of acceptance and loving ourselves. And two things that I want you to keep in mind with this as we kind of think about how we can implement this. One is, what would you say to a friend who was kind of judging themselves this way or holding themselves back or not really loving themselves? You probably would say, hey, wake up. This doesn't sound like what you want to do. This isn't really helpful for you. Here's how I see you, or here's what I know is kind of be supportive for you. Right. So can we talk to ourselves that way? Can we be that loving friend? So that's a good way to check in with yourself. Another thing you can do is put a reminder out there for yourself. I have a rose quartz crystal right here on my desk. And if you're on the video podcast, you can see this. But if not, it's just a beautiful stone and it's not very big, but I have it right here as a reminder, right? And what it is, rose quartz is really the symbol of love, right? Symbol of loving ourselves. So I keep this here and I'm keeping it right here right now, just as a reminder to myself. So you can do the same. You can use a rose quartz crystal, or you can find anything else that is a reminder to you to love yourself. Another fun one is to put a picture of yourself as a child and just remember that childlike, playful part of you, right? Who was maybe willing to make more mistakes or didn't know what was a mistake and what wasn't, was trying things out in the world, right? Somewhere along the way, we lose that. So those are just some things you can do to kind of keep yourself centered and grounded around this idea of non-judgment, acceptance, and loving ourselves. And I encourage you to do that alignment check that we've done in other soul sessions. Check in with yourself right now. Where are you right now? Maybe even on a scale of 1 to 10 with really accepting yourself, allowing yourself to make mistakes, loving yourself, and really bringing that forward as you go out in the world, right? If you're at a 10, great. You're doing well. If you're closer to the 1 side or even the 5, somewhere in the middle, it's time to take small action steps to help yourself be more gentle with yourself. Because when you do, you're going to allow yourself to show up differently, right? And that's actually the biggest growth that you can get by allowing yourself to show up, play a little bit differently out there, be playful, have that acceptance, and love yourself. So thank you so much for joining me for this soul session. And I look forward to talking with you again soon. Thank you for joining me for today's episode of Live Well, Dream Big. I hope you enjoyed today's conversation. And I want to invite you to take your next step toward living well and dreaming big by downloading the Live Well, Dream Big lifestyle book. It's the ultimate guide to becoming your best self and living life on your own terms. You can grab your complimentary copy by going to the link in the show notes or heading directly to iawpwellnesscoach.com/guide. That's iawpwellnesscoach.com/guide.